Hello everyone, no respawns here, hope you're doing well. So I'm in possibly the most dangerous place ever, making a potentially ill-fated build. Spoilers, I survived, but I was really nervous. So this is, where is this, Cranberry Bog, so this is just shy of Watoga, in the only flat area that was close enough to a Scorched Beast without actually being attacked. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is trying my hand at making a compound. Now, still in these early stages of Fallout 76, we've not got many of the building elements. I've mentioned this a few times before, and I still, however, weirdly enjoy kind of playing around and seeing what I can actually get out of it. And I'm bizarrely pleased with this. What I'm just doing right there is there was a little bit of lag because I'd literally just logged in. So I'm just kind of showing you that you can actually, if you have that instance where your resources aren't showing up, I find placing my stash down and just looking at it, some reason makes them zone in. It's just because I kept exiting until I'd found some nice weather. Anywho, yes, so what I'm using on this one is I'm using the defensive walls. These are, I think, the only defensive walls actually you have. I'm hoping they add more later on. These are a bit of a pain. The way you unlock these is you have to claim your first public workbench, and that'll unlock all of the defensive items. Now, these ones, as you can see, they're a bit fiddly. I'm quite looking forward to when Bethesda finally give us the bulldozer they announced really recently, which is effectively going to allow you to kind of tidy up the areas where you're going to place your settlements, because these are a little bit temperamental, to say the least. They were just getting a bit confused, and yeah, but I had to keep kind of moving them and changing them around. I realised quickly early on, so initially I was going to make it so they were all the same height, but they kind of snap at different levels, as you can see. And at first I was like, well, I don't like this is going to look really bad. But then when you get to the tour, you'll see the asymmetry actually looks quite nice. I'm hoping once the building function has kind of been refined a little bit, that we'll be able to reliably move these around a little. Because the thing is they would look nice if you had a pattern of like kind of small walls then high walls. It would look quite nice. A lot of the time, a lot of this video is me just experimenting with them for the first time. I do a pretty good job actually. It's just they're temperamental. You really need lots of flat ground, and the bigger you have the area, the kind of more temperamental it's going to be. You can also see as well as I'm kind of putting things in different orders and standing on the outside. So I kind of like the fact that I'm showing you off my math effectively, just because of the fact that it's a little bit complex. But don't give up, because they do kind of work. You just have to kind of move things around. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just going back through and realizing, right, well, if I'm going to have them different height, I might as well just kind of own it. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm still super nervous about that Scorched Beast. He never did attack me. I deliberately, the reason why I chose this area is because I'd seen a couple of people set up kind of end game camps here, but they're still kind of largely crap. And I wanted an excuse to make a compound area somewhere that was kind of dangerous. And initially I'd chosen the mire because it's my favourite location in the game. But quite simply, at this current stage, it's a bit too foresty for me to place anything. But again, those of you who haven't seen Bethesda's recent update, there'll be a patch on the 11th, which is going to add the ability for us to bulldoze areas. So I moved the exit a little bit and the doorway. So currently we don't have gates, but what I've gone and done is... again, I like this, even though I'm looking forward to having more tools to use. It is kind of bizarrely fun to kind of see what I can do with the resources I had available. So I don't particularly like the metal tab. I thought I'd like it more. I think maybe because it feels like it's still missing bits, but it is useful for little kind of sections like this. So I made a kind of little doorway. Initially I'd actually made a little house that was a kind of like 2-door entrance, but to be honest, it didn't look very good. So I've just kind of plopped it here like this, and just made a little kind of wee staircase doorway kind of thing. It's right, it's cozy, and also it makes for quite a secure entrance. Also, credit where credit's due, at least in the instance of putting those doorways and those foundations against the perimeter walls, it's actually bizarrely flexible. I was expecting, for me to not be able to place that foundation or those doors anywhere near these walls, but as you can see, you can kind of get things pretty damn close, bordering on squishing in. So I'm going to place the tent down right now. See, initially, the plan was to have perimeter walls surrounding what was kind of compound bunker, and I will do a bunker at some point using the metal pieces, but I kind of didn't like what I'd made, so ended up scrapping it completely. And also, to be frank, because of obviously how much of a little bit of a grind getting steel is, I ran out of it. So I was like, right, okay, let's make this more like a kind of one of the military areas you see nearby. So it looks like one of the Brotherhood of Steel camps in the area, except with a bit more of a permanent wall setup. I also completely used my entire settlement budget in this video, by the way. That's another thing I do hope they expand. I think that's kind of old hat, even though the game's new, but it's a kind of old hat in terms of like everyone saying that. I'm pretty sure they will, because they're already increasing the settlement budget in a couple of weeks, and I know they were doing that as a conservative estimate before they then increase it a bit more due to not a settlement budget, what am I talking about, the stash budget rather, that's being increased soon. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably do it with the settlement budget. To be honest, I wouldn't need more. I end up using the whole thing. If I maybe had, say, half again extra, I could pretty much use the entire space, slap down an extra turret, which I do want one at the back, and decorate quite well. I mean, obviously I've got all of my decorations down, but I wouldn't mind to have, you know, maybe like put some houses, some lights on the outside and things like that. So yeah, it's a pretty it's quite, I'm bizarrely satisfied for it. I thought I might hate it. You're gonna see me really struggle with these perimeter wall frames, by the way, just because it's again, it's just kind of snapping things and kind of learning. I've got to figure out, because obviously the problem was, because the ground wasn't completely even, when they started snapping together, it meant the middle pieces were a little bit too high. So I had to kind of like fiddle with them a little bit, but I got them looking pretty good. I'm pretty chuffed. This base, I wasn't too sure how I would feel about it, but it was quite fun. It turned out different to what I expected, but kind of better than I was expecting. You know what I mean? So I'm quite pleased with it. And I hope you are too, and it gives you a few ideas. And so these perimeter walls are fine when you get used to them. It's just that they are a bit demanding. The reason why my budget is so high at this very second, by the way, is because I've still got quite a lot of stored items. I'll show you a tour in a little bit, in like a minute or two, and you will see exactly what I place inside. And this is me with a maxed out settlement limit. The reason why I think as well, because I've got 2 missile turrets. So I figured, because the Scorch Beast is quite close by, what I could probably do, which is what I am planning to do, is kind of lure them back to this area, and then the 2, they won't obviously take them out, but they'll be hopefully a bit more damaging than the normal turrets. But of course, if they're not, then I can replace them with cheaper turrets that hopefully free up some space. So yeah, I do a little bit of a nightmare just where deciding to put the generator, and eventually you'll see in a second the tour. I put it next to the tent, and it looks pretty cool. So right, here is the tour. I didn't want to show you decorating because it is obviously a little bit, you know, I wanted to keep the video reasonably short, and also quite simple, I ran out of resources loads, so I kept having to bugger off and grind, which is hence why this is going to be up way later than it normally would. So you see, like with the walls like that, the asymmetry bizarrely works. I probably would like this side, I quite like, for the fact that it's up and down, and I probably normally, once they've kind of eased off and the restrictions a bit, would make it so it looks like a little bit of a castle. And I would like to maybe have a few more texture bits that I can put on the outside, because it looks very flat pack, so it looks kind of military in a lot of ways, and you know, it's not pretty, but it's functional, but it's pretty because it looks like it's deliberately functional. It is the kind of how I get the vibe from this. And yeah, like I really like the inside actually, because it still models on what my normal camps are looking like right now, which is the tent, but I did put it on the foundation in this instance, and then a little food area. But this is with a maxed out settlement budget, so I definitely think they do need to increase it by maybe half again. I know it increases when you level up, but I'm level like mid 50, I think level 55 at this point, and I'm pretty sure it probably stops after level 50. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was fun trying new things and kind of making use. Again, I'm pretty sure we will get more stuff unlocked later down the line. There's already been stuff added to the Atomic Store, which is really cool. Those cool Vault-Tec pavilions. I was thinking of like literally quickly doing some dailies and getting the last couple of atoms I needed and picking those up, but I decided against it. But yeah, no, it does look pretty cool, but way better than I thought it would, and different to what I was aiming for, but in a nice, a happy surprise. But anyway, I'll have a new Fallout 76 video soon. I've got a couple of guides planned, more gameplay stuff, as well as I've started doing my more chill, long-form, non-Fallout 76 gameplay videos. Recently did Don't Starve Hamlet, which is great fun. I'm going to be continuing that. I'm also going to be doing the Frostpunk Endless mode as well, which will be pretty cool. Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll talk to you lovely people soon. You take care.